Well, Dr. Thomas Burton is a beloved retired ETSU professor. He began teaching there in 1958 and retired in 1995. During that time, and even during the years following, Dr. Burton has written nearly a dozen books. He is quite the storyteller, and today he joins us to talk about his newest book, as well as some of his others and his time at ETSU. And Dr. Burton, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, I was reading a little bit about all the things you've done over the last 20, 30, 40 years, and pretty incredible. One thing sort of remains constant, though. You love to share stories.
Well, I enjoy people, and I've been very privileged to meet a lot of really wonderful people, very interesting people, different parts of culture, lives different than mine, and that's been a great pleasure. And I've been a lot involved in recording their stories and their lives, and on film and in written form. And I was thinking that it gives them a kind of immortality in a way, because most of these people that I have interviewed in the past now are dead. But if you can save a little bit of their life in a story or a song, or they're telling their stories, or a film, then in a way you've given them a little piece of immortality.
And you've given everybody else the insight into these different people and their lives and their culture. You've written about so many different types of people. Your latest book, Voices Worth the Listening, details 3 women, right, from Appalachia.
Correct.
This region.
Right. Well, you're probably familiar with Robert Frost's poem, 2 roads in the woods met, and I took one, and that made all the difference. Well, these 3 women have been on another path completely off the norm and different from the common path, but wonderful lives, very traumatic, difficult lives. And all 3 of these women, they've been involved with, I mean, not each one, but in composite, with homicides, attempted suicides, drug abuse, male abuse, imprisonment, just things that most of us don't have any personal experience with, and racism. But I don't discuss these women. I let them tell their own stories. So it's their voices. It's not my voice. It's their voices that are worth the listening. And I feel that relative to Appalachia, that's what we need to be doing. Critical sociological treatments, those are important. But we need to get to listen to the people. And this is listening to some very interesting people who are a part of a stratum in Appalachia. They're not the stereotypical, you know, the mountain woman singing ballads, or the coal miner's daughter, or the depressed area of steel mills, something like that. These are from this central Appalachian region, from middle-class lives. Now, one of them did come up in poverty, but she's a success story, really. She's happens to be one of the 3 that's a black woman, and I was thinking about all this unrest that we're going through now with racism, prejudice, and I don't think you could read her story and feel any prejudice. I mean, she came up in the projects and abject poverty, really, but she's really a success story, and has gone to college, and
some of these are painful as you're reading them to see what they've overcome, but you say And especially, this is so important for us in today's world and what we're seeing across the world. As painful as these stories may be, as difficult as those conversations might be to have, these are a way to heal some of those wounds.
Right. It's a way of understanding the situation by listening to the people and their lives, their feelings. They're not trash. They're not objects to be excluded. They're people that need understanding and helps us to understand the whole culture.
You're not done writing, are you? You got another one in the works already?
Well, working on something.
He's always working on something, and I know you're still no stranger to the halls at ETSU. Spend a lot of time there.
One of my books about serpent handling, the Serpent and the Spirit, that's one of the projects that's currently involved, that HBO is doing a documentary dealing with the material of that book, The Serpent and the Spirit. So
And
that's current right now. It should come out any time, really.
So can we have you back so you can talk about that? Because that's a whole nother conversation that we would love to have.
Right.
Unbelievable experience. You were actually invited in to do that documentary in that book. We're going to have you back and we can talk a little bit about that. Does that sound good?
Thank you.
All right, we'll give everybody the information. His newest book, Voices Worth the Listening, now available on Amazon. You can also check out all of his other books, including the Serpent Handling book. We'll be right back.